I am Michael Sweet, right there, the MS.
Uh-huh.
And I am the singer, guitar player for the band Stryper. And that is spelled Y, so people don't confuse it with stripper. We're not strippers, we're Stryper.
I never even thought of that, but I bet you've copped that a few times over the years.
Oh yeah. People still call us stripper. It's funny.
Well, good morning, Michael from Stryper. How are you today?
I am well. I'm excited to be coming back to Australia, and just always blessed that we can still perform and do what we love to do year after year. We're pushing our 40-year anniversary. It's crazy.
Yeah, betcha, mate. So, like you say, Stryper returned to Australia for the first time in 5 years very soon for a run of shows, starting in Brisbane on March 2nd before taking in Sydney, Perth, Melbourne, Adelaide, and finishing in Auckland on March 10th. So what sorts of special delights have you got in store for you Australian fans, mate?
Well, we're doing a long set. I think it's 21 songs. We're trying to squeeze as many songs into that set, that everybody wants to hear from the very beginning to now. That's the tricky part. And it's been, even though it's only been we came as a trio in 18, and I came as a solo guy in 19. And then the pandemic, obviously, but it hasn't been that long, but it feels like it's been a really long time since we've been. So we're just excited to come, and we can't wait to see everybody.
I guess you raise an interesting point there, mate. Like, you've been around for the 40 years now, so you've got so many songs. Like, is it getting harder and harder to put together a set list that you think might make everyone happy?
It really is. It's like one of those things where it's getting to the point where we need to pull a Bruce Springsteen, and play for 3 hours. And it's like, God bless him for doing that. But man, Bruce, his style of writing and his style of singing, I think, is a little easier to pull off for 3 hours than our style of writing and singing. It's a lot of high register belting stuff, and it's not easy on the voice,
I bet. And as you mentioned, like, you're out here last in 2018. So what has changed with our Stryper since then?
Well, I mean, not a lot in terms of the band. I mean, we're the same lineup. In 18, we didn't have Oz, so we came as a trio.
Yeah.
And that was a first. That was very unique. We've never done that before. But the fans were so gracious and so awesome, and they came out and had a great time. We had a great time. This time around, we're coming with Oz. And, the band has a new album out. We're still making music. We're celebrating our 40-year next year. 1984, we released the Yellow and Black Attack. 2024, 40 years, which is crazy. So we're still here, and you got a little fuel in the tank left. We've got more to do. We feel that we feel that we do. And we're gracious. We're very grateful for the fact that fans still want to buy our albums and still want to hear what we do. It blows our minds.
And as you mentioned, Ozfox didn't make the last tour because he fell sick. So have you guys got him in cotton wool this time, mate? You got him in quarantine already, making sure it doesn't get crook?
He's definitely feeling much better, more like his old self. Everything's great. And I tell you, man, coming as a trio, that was scary for me, because I didn't have time to prepare for it, to be honest. If I had the time to prepare, I would have learned all his solos and learned his parts, and I didn't do that. I just played rhythm during his solos. But as I said, the fans were so awesome. They didn't care. They just came and had a great time, man. And we were all rocking out, enjoying the moment.
I'd like to say, man, 2024 celebrates Stryper for 40 years. So let that sink in for a second, bro. Like, 40 years as a band, like, that's a great effort. Magnificent.
It's really crazy, and especially considering the fact that we don't look a day over 40 years old.
I wouldn't put you at 35, mate. So you've done well.
No, we're getting up there in age, man. There's no doubt about it. But, I think music keeps us all young, and we try to take care of ourselves. We don't do anything in overabundance, we enjoy life, but we also want to take care of ourselves. So we're around for a little while longer, and we can get more done.
Which means you actually formed back in 1983, mate. Like that was the time of Michael Jackson and Thriller and all that sort of stuff. So what's the musical climate like back then that gave birth to Stryper, and where did you fit in initially?
It was a different world, mainstream, but then you add to that the Christian side of things. We were really scary to the church. You know, they're out there in their three-piece suits and their slick back hair, and here comes Stryper in yellow and black painted on spandex and makeup and lipstick, you know? And they're like, what in the hell is this? And I don't think they knew how to take it. And I think because of that, we weren't always accepted. We had opposition from both sides, so we never really had a club to fit into. And we still don't really. You know, we march to our own beat and play to our own drum and all of that stuff. And we're a very unusual band, for sure.
Yeah. Do you find that as the years have gone by that you have been accepted more for who you are, I guess, rather than what different sides of the warring factions try and pull you towards?
I don't know if necessarily we've been accepted for who we are any more than we were back then, but I do think that we're respected a little bit more for who we are. Because I think people realize, like, we've been around for almost 40 years and we're still here doing it. A lot of bands aren't. And we've stayed true to our convictions and stuck to our guns. And I think people respect that. We haven't wavered from that. And we're still here doing it and making music, turning in records, turning out records, touring. You know, it's not about, you know, just relying on the classics. We rely on the new music just as much as the classics. If you listen to our set, it's comprised of new music every bit as much as classic music. And not a lot of bands can say that either.
Yeah. So back in 83, mate, like, did you have a blueprint or a battle plan for the future for Stryper, or were you more sort of just playing for the love and enjoying the moment?
Just enjoying the moment. We were young. I mean, the first record contract I signed for the Yellow and Black Attack, I was 20 years old. Yeah. You know, I was a kid. And it came out when I was 21. July of 84, I was 21 years old, just turned 21. So I was literally a kid, and I didn't think about responsibilities like, hey, how are we going to survive in the future? How are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? I didn't think about that. All I was thinking about was, wow, I'm playing music. I'm playing my guitar, and I'm going to Australia. You know, it's all I cared about. And now, though, however, I think about responsibilities in the future and security and you know, health and all the stuff you don't think about when you're a kid.
Yeah, sucks growing old, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, and we all get old.
Yeah,
that's the thing. When you're a kid, you don't think you're going to get old. You don't think you're going to get old when you're a kid, and then all of a sudden you wake up and you're old.
We still haven't found a way around that one, mate. But when you do, we'll be rich.
Exactly. And so much of it is here, how you think of it and how you hold it in your heart. You know, if you stay young in your head and your heart, you're young forever, man. As long as you have your health, you're going to be young forever.
100%. We sort of touched on this a little bit before, man, but trends come and go, especially in the music world. And like over 40 years, there's been a heck of a lot of things come and go and people loving this and fads and fashions, blah, blah. But have Stryper ever sort of gone with those trends and those fads, or have you always stuck to your own gun?
We've always pretty much stuck to our own guns. Stryper fashion, you know, over the years, you look back on it and at it, and you'll see that we didn't follow any trends. You know, we did our own thing, and not just our own thing in terms of fashion and the look of the band, the visual side, but also the musical side. We do our own thing as well. We don't follow any trends. We don't listen to this band and say, let's sound like that. We have our own sound, love it or hate it. And that's who we are, man. It's always been, and I think always will be.
Has it ever been difficult at times though, bro? Because I'm sure over 40 years, there's been people saying to you, like, if you do this, you're going to have that. And you're going to, you know, like, I'm sure there would have been people trying to get in your head, I guess, and sort of push you in certain directions. Has it ever been difficult to sort of say, nah, this is what we want?
Oh, yeah, never difficult to say it. difficult maybe to, deal with the fallout. Sometimes when you say, no, this is what we're doing, you lose a deal, or you lose this, or you lose that. You don't always gain. You gain your respect and you gain your integrity, but you don't always gain the benefits financially and whatnot in the record deal or what have you. But Stryper's always stuck to their guns. We've said no many times. No, we're not doing that. That's on us, so we can't do it. And people are like, okay. And 9 times out of 10, they've allowed us to do it our way. And it's really paid off for not just us, but for them as well. Enigma Records was living proof of that. That was our first label. When they signed us, they liked the band. They came and saw us perform. They signed us. And then once they signed us and we turned the album in and we turned in the lyrics, they read the lyrics and they wanted to drop us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because they read the lyrics and said, wait a minute, what is all this Christian stuff? Are you kidding me? We didn't know you guys were singing about Jesus. And they wanted to drop us, but they decided to keep us. And when they kept us and released our album, we sold tons of albums. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, wait a minute. Hey, you guys are great, And that's just the way the world views things, right? It's all about finances for the most part.
Has it ever been like a source of frustration for you though, mate? Like to say, like part of music is the lyrics and like you're writing them together and they both come together to make you what you are. So has it ever been frustrating when someone does something like that and they don't get it, I guess?
Oh yeah, it is frustrating for sure. And we've been very blessed though to be associated and affiliated with people that do get it for the most part over the years. On rare occasion, there's someone that doesn't get it. And we usually just don't wind up working with those people.
Yeah.
It's us saying, yeah, you don't get it, so you're good. We'll work with someone else that does. And that's the way it's worked out for Stryper over the years.
Cool. This might be a bit hard for you to answer, mate, because it's always hard to talk about yourself like this. But 40 years, you've been around for 40 years, is a long time, bro. And you're an amazing band. But from what you can see, what impact has Stryper had on music in the last 4 decades?
Oh man, well, I think maybe a much larger impact than some people might want to admit, or maybe some people may know. Stryper did a lot in the 80s, especially, mostly. We charted, we broke a lot of boundaries, we broke a lot of records, and statistically, beating out Motley Crue and Bon Jovi on MTV isn't an easy feat for anybody, much less a band singing about God. So interesting times. And we lived through those times. Really cool stuff. And then you fast forward to now, we were that band that was told time and time again, you guys will be gone in 10 years. You guys suck. You're not going to stick around. And here we are. We're still here.
Congrats.
And they are not. The ones that said that aren't. And it's like, okay. And I say that humbly.
Yeah.
I don't say that with any pride. It's one of those situations where you got to watch what you say, and we're all hard workers, and we're not going to take no for an answer. We're going to make it happen, even if everyone else says it's not going to happen.
Good on you, man. So this is like a little bit morbid, but one day, like when Stryper does decide to call stumps on a career, man, and you're sitting back looking at it, what do you hope that you would have left as Stryper's musical legacy?
So you're talking about next year?
I was talking about like next week.
Oh man, when I look back someday, whenever that day comes, I hope it's not for at least another 10 years, maybe 20 years. I hope when I look back on it, our legacy, I shouldn't say I hope. I should just say when I do, because I already look back on it and I reflect and I think how humbly proud I am of what Stryper's accomplished, all the people we've inspired and encouraged over the years. And it just amazes me, through a song, through a lyric, lives that were touched, people that were suicidal, people that were drug addicts, people that were alcoholics, and they're not anymore. And they're alive today and they're thriving. And they've turned their lives around because of a Stryper song. that blows my mind. That's more than any song or any performance. That lives on for eternity. And that's the stuff that I reflect on and I think, well done. You know, it makes me very happy.
That's awesome, bro. Well, thanks very much for your time today, Michael. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Stryper's tour kicks off in Brisbane on March the 2nd, and I shall be there at that concert, mate. So I'll give you a wave from the crowd.
Give me a wave, man. Give me a big smile, brother. And, you know, get some rest so you're rested up for it. It's going to be an awesome night.
Well worth getting out of bed for this morning, brother. You take care of yourself, mate, and we'll see you in a week or so.
Okay, buddy. God bless you. Thanks for having me.